So I'm Shauna McIntyre. I am the CEO of Sense Photonics. I joined the company almost 3 months ago from Google, where at Google I was running the automotive services programs, which was across multiple parts of Google to bring embedded software into the vehicle. Before that at Google, I had been in the consumer electronics business as chief of staff and bringing new consumer experiences to market enabled by the hardware that we were providing. Taking a step back though, my career started at a Ford plant. I was instituting new lean manufacturing processes, putting in automation, kind of the first round of robotics into automotive manufacturing. Later headed up product and engineering for one of the largest tier ones into both automotive and industrial spaces, Honeywell Garrett turbochargers. And then decided at that point in time that hardware for hardware itself is GDP growth. It's not going to break open and create a lot of value. What's the value is being created is in the consumer experience and in the software AI. And so that's when I pivoted my career. Common thread here in my career is that I, as a mechanical engineer, have always focused on hardware, but increasingly so that hardware has to be that gateway to new incredible experiences. So that's where we are today. Sense Photonics creates intelligent vision systems. As we look in the world today, automotive, trucking, farming, industrial, there are so many use cases that are being transformed by the requirement and the need for new experiences, from the new cockpit of a Tesla to precision farming to increase yield and improving the robotics as it was applied to farming, removing the driver in mining to save $1 million per truck per year and enable faster, more productivity in mining, and then also in places like warehousing and improving the security and safety systems that we have. So all of these experiences are being transformed. And what's happening is that the user is at the core, and the user is getting these new experiences enabled by software. But then that places the requirement of hardware to not just be hardware, but really to be that open, intelligent gateway to enable all these new experiences. Let's take an example. The Apollo 11 cockpit at its time was novel and innovative. Today, it's vastly different. The SpaceX puts the astronaut at the core and develops things around that experiences. Companies are taking a lot of the cash from their balance sheets and applying it toward these new experiences or toward these new technologies to enable new experiences, such as Intel's purchase of Mobileye. GM was one of the first automakers to plunk $1 billion into a tech company. And then most recently, VW with its $2.6 billion investment into Argo for autonomous vehicles. And what these autonomous systems and these robotic systems need is they need to know where they are in the world, and they need to know where they are relative to everything else in the world. And so this requires not just localization through something like GPS, but also effective vision systems to enable them to operate in and around themselves. Then this opens up so many opportunities for edge computing, continuous learning through ML and AI, and then of course the analysis of all the data that it extracts. This unlocks outstanding opportunities, especially in today's world. We need to distance our workers. We need safer driving. We need more productivity out of our warehouses and our plants. And by far and large, we have to clean up the environment and have solutions that will clean it up. And that's where we come in. Sense Photonics, we make intelligent vision systems that enable transformative new experiences. Our vision systems provide 10x the amount of data density to the customer's vision stack, perception stack, than any other competitor. We do it without any moving parts. It's a camera-like architecture, and it's a fraction of the cost, 1/10 of the cost of our competitors. And this is how you scale in automotive. Having come from that world and having come from the industrial world of the very challenging environments, it has to be cost-effective, deployable, and high-performing all at the same time. So I joined a few months ago, as I mentioned, and I joined an outstanding team. Scott Burrows is a longtime serial entrepreneur, expert in fiber electronics, optoelectronics. Hope Finkelstein, the first to launch a SPAD detector back into biotech, the biotech space. And then Sukesh comes from a deep background in software and AI. Our products are available today. Our Sense One is the longest range industrial use camera today. Osprey is launching as I speak for industrial and automotive applications. It's a modular design for easier packaging. And then we're excited about the early results we have from our Osprey X, which will be a first long-range flash LiDAR. That's quite exciting, and we're excited about what we've demonstrated thus far. As I mentioned, it's a simple architecture. The VCSEL array, which is this microarray on that substrate there, it's a simple stamping process. It's a micro transfer printing process that has been validated already. And then it's a very simple flash camera like LiDAR. Picture says 1,000 words. This one has 10,000 or 10x richer data than our nearest competitor. We have a larger vertical field of view, which is particularly good in industrial settings, and it's just a richer picture with much more consistent data throughout. We're already making traction with great companies around the world, from robotics, online retail, security, industrial use cases, and then automotive and trucking. A case study here is one of my favorites, and that, because I've spent a lot of time in trucking. Truck idling is one of the worst offenders to the environment. So how do you reduce it? Well, you can make your ports and your warehouses and bays smarter. So just like when you're waiting on an airplane and you're waiting for that gate, well, this is the same thing for a truck. So rather than the truck idling and pumping out CO2 and nitric oxides and particulate matter into the environment, you can smoothly transition these trucks in and out of their bays, both for a unit on the side of the building for monitoring the trucks, but also on the truck itself. So we're getting great traction on both sides to improve ports, clean them up, and to improve the throughput of our warehouses. And so we're here to raise $40 million for our Series B. We want to ship our near-field products and scale and expand our sales into these exciting industrial use cases. We want to complete our automotive offering, which is the long-range single photon avalanche detector at 200 meters plus. We want to deliver on programs and launch with automotive and industrial, and then we want to scale with our strategic partners. So thanks so much. I look forward to meeting you in the breakout room.